Okay, so a definite, this is number 8, a definite lack of interest in yourself when you do have any free time. So what can happen is you have free time, and what do? Yeah, you end up cleaning the house or getting it tidy, and there's some sort of internal clock going on so that you manage to collapse into a chair about 10 minutes or 5 minutes before everybody comes back in again and starts messing the whole thing up, and you're exhausted because you haven't actually recharged your batteries. So that's a common one. And then the other thing is that if you have time planned, it's on the same theme, it's still number 8, that if you have time planned for yourself, you really don't know what to do to look after yourself. It's like, I've got no idea. So what you might end up doing when the time comes to be by yourself, perhaps, and take some time out, you might just flop in front of the TV, have some crisps or chocolate or whatever. And although that's not a bad thing to do, it's where it comes from, where the actual idea comes from. So the thing I'm trying to get over here is that it's important to own the decision to do that. That it's actually like, that's going to be good for me. I just sit down, have a bit to eat because I want to, and do nothing, rather than just giving up and just flopping down on the settee. Yeah. Number 9 is eternal lists. Yeah, lists in your head, on paper, things to do, mostly for others, or for the smooth running of your life. And the other thing is that if you make lists, you'll probably put some things for yourself in, and they might get put to the back all the time, so you don't seem to quite get round to them. And you think, well, I'll just put them on tomorrow's list, so they go on tomorrow's list, but of course there's 20 other things to do and you don't get around to them. So you keep putting yourself to the bottom of the list. That's a really good way to see if you're over responsible for other people and what's going on in your life. Number 10, easy. Oughts, shoulds, musts, justs, really self-explanatory. I'll just explain the just one because that's something that I suffered from. Particularly, which is, I will just do this. Oh, I'll just do that job. Oh, I'll just go and do the washing up. I'll just make dinner. I'll just do the washing up. I'll just make the beds. I'll just, and by the time I've stopped that, it's bedtime again. And I think it's a hiding from me hiding from the fact that I'm saying I ought to. It's me making it a little bit softer for myself. So I don't do it anymore. Number 11. This is a great one. Yeah, not making time to go to the loo. So your body will be giving you those hints, as in, go for a pee now. You need to get rid of what's in your body. And you ignore it. And you can ignore it for hours. In fact, you can ignore it for all day. I did this a lot when I was at work. And wouldn't go to work all day and just repeatedly ignored those messages. And of course, what can this lead to? Eventually it can lead to things like cystitis, problems with digestion, constipation, bladder infections, all those sorts of things from holding on. So we don't want to do that. And the last one, number 12, is just consistent low energy levels. So you really don't have energy from the time that you get up to the time that you go to bed. Self-explanatory, easy to understand. Okay, so if all that has completely stressed you out because you've been listening and you've got, oh yes, that's me, oh yes, that's me, yes, that's me, and you've gone through maybe you've got between 6 and 12 yeses, so it's a good indication that you actually are over responsible, and it's something that none of us really wants to admit to, that it's a problem, that it is causing us an issue, because it feels so right on the one hand to do it, as I said, because it's about loving people and caring for people. So yeah, so if you're feeling stressed right now, then I've got something to help you right now, which is great, to lessen your stress. Now, this is important because it's the first way. It's a really simple way, and it's a first way that you can start to change what you're doing every day, which is caring too much for others and being too responsible. It's just simply about the breath. It's about breathing, and you think, whoa, what's she talking about? I breathe all the time. But it's about the right sort of breathing, and it's about what that breathing will give you. Now, it's really easy to do. I'll just go through it now. And then I'll tell you why you might like to do it. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is to take a big breath in through your nose and fill your belly with the air. So you take the breath into your belly and try and keep your chest quite still. So don't raise your chest as you breathe in. So we'll do that. Your belly comes out and it should feel a bit like a balloon because it's full of air. Now hold that for 3 or 4 seconds only. And then when you've done that, let all the air out through your nose again and really push all the air out so that you're pushing your belly back to your backbone. Until you can't let any more out at all, and at which point there's only one way to go. You'll breathe in again, and in you go. Okay, so if you practice that repeatedly for 3 or 4 minutes, what will you give yourself? Why am I suggesting, after I've stressed you out with a list, to do breathing? Well, because our distress makes us breathe in a very shallow way. So what happens is, if you've got distressed, either over listening to this list or because of the responsibilities that you've got and all the things you've got to do, then you get stressed and your breathing gets more and more shallow. And that means that you're breathing actually from your chest rather than into your belly. Now, why is this so important? Well, that's because as you breathe more into your chest area, your carbon dioxide levels go up and your oxygen levels drop. So the relationship between them isn't right, because we need the levels to be pretty similar on both carbon dioxide and oxygen. Now, what you're doing is you're feeling distressed, you're breathing in a distressed way, and you're adding more stress to your body, so you're feeling more distressed. So there's the cycle going again. So what I'm asking you to do is to think about the fact that you're distressed, or to feel your distress, to start breathing like this, maybe for 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, to give yourself stillness firstly, and also to get the oxygen and the carbon dioxide levels right. And it's really great, it's really simple, it's an easy thing to do, and it's the first way that I'm giving you that's going to start overturning this over-responsible behaviour to others. So what I'd like you to do, if you're really interested, is to do this, say, 2 or 3 or 4 times a day, whenever you like, either as a response to the stress you're feeling or just because you've remembered and you want to do it. It will give you stillness, it will give you space, it will give you time for yourself, and it will give you the, as I've said, the oxygen carbon dioxide relationship to each other in the right amounts. Why is this so important? Because as somebody who's over responsible, you won't be giving any time and energy to yourself. So this is the first, tiniest and really significant way of changing this around. Brilliant. Stick with it and let's see how you're doing. So that's everything. I just remember that if you're getting stressed out at this whole list, even though you've done a bit of breathing with me, just remember this is about that there is a solution. It has many strands, and as I've said, it takes effort and determination to do, and those sorts of things. But there is a solution, and this breathing is just the start, and just one tiny thing you can do to change that. And I don't want to introduce lots and lots of things to you, so it just goes on a to-do list of what you need to do, and then you won't get round to it because it feels onerous and it feels like you have to do it. So just one tiny thing, that's all. On my next video, I'm making a next video, I'm going to have a really exciting look, at responsibility itself, so that you can reframe it. We'll reframe it together and you can reframe it, and then you can start using responsibility differently from that point. It's really lovely, it's really simple, and that you'll get wonderful new results. I mean, I guarantee that if you do this. So that's in my next video, and that's coming out in a couple of weeks. Please like my video at the bottom, and if you've got any questions or any comments, please put those down and I'd love to hear them. Thanks very much. Bye.